a hardcore truth about being in real estate, what they didn't tell you when you got into real estate. So maybe you got into real estate because you like Bravo or the $1 Million Listing Agent or like flipping show on HGTV. It looks like super, super glamorous and looks so, so easy and so, so fun, right? And then you're hoping to get those glamorous paydays. Maybe you just like wake up in the morning, tour a couple houses, go take a few listings, and whammo, you've got a big, huge commission check. But guess what? Here's the hardcore truth. Do you know the average real estate agent only makes $46,000 a year? Who can live on $46,000 a year? I'll tell you what, I sure as heck can't live on $46,000 a year. There's no way in heaven I can do that. So what's it really like to be in real estate? Well, first of all, you get your license and they don't tell you anything. You take this test and the test has absolutely nothing to do with being in real estate. It doesn't teach you anything about marketing, about lead generation, about lead nurture, about conversion, about fulfillment and delivery. It doesn't talk to you about marketing or digital marketing or having an online presence. Or social media. You have no clue what it is that you're supposed to do. So what do? You go into the office, usually like maybe around, 10, 11 o'clock. And then you sit there and you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So you start talking to other people in the office and they say, let's go to lunch. So you go, okay, great, let's go to lunch, right? Yes, let's go to lunch. Then you go to lunch, maybe you have a cocktail or two. Next thing you know, it's like 2 o'clock. So you go, oh, well, day's over. Think it's time to go home. That's why most agents fail, all right? Let's talk about what it's really like. That's what it's like, right? You get into real estate, you realize that every single person you know is in real estate. Why? Because it's the easiest job to get into, which is crazy to me. You can take like 25 hours worth of classes. Next thing you know, whammo, you're in real estate. You're dealing with one of the most expensive things anybody will ever buy or sell. It's one of the most valued assets they'll ever sell or buy. They can make the most amount of money or lose the most amount of money in anything else in their life. And it takes like 25 hours to get your license. That is ridiculous. Do you know that most real estate agents, the ones that are good, will make way more money than any doctor or any attorney or anything else? But why is it so hard for most agents? Because they don't understand it's almost impossible for you to stand out. How do you stand out? How do you make yourself different? How do you become visible? How do you stop being a minion and looking like everyone else? That's the hard part. So let me ask you a question. What's the one single thing that's the most important thing that you need to be doing as a real estate agent? What's the one thing? Well, let me ask you the second question. Are you a real estate agent or are you a marketer? Do you know that your job as a real estate agent is to be an expert marketer? So what else don't they tell you? They don't tell you that once you get your license, number one, you've got to pay for your MLS. That typically is around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. They also don't tell you that in order for you to get leads, you actually have to pay money to get those leads unless you're going to do things like open houses. But here's the deal, everybody. Right now with Corona, you can't even really do an open house. People are afraid to do open houses. And if you're talking to me and I'm your agent, I'll tell you that open houses are dangerous because people steal stuff. I've had people steal, I've had people steal jewelry. I've had people steal prescriptions. It's dangerous, and I tell my sellers that. I also tell them that less than 3% of homes nationwide sell as an open house, so it's not the right thing to do. Or you're told to go door knocking, right? Oh, let's go door knocking, yeah. So you can get eaten by a dog. Do you want to get eaten by a dog? Or do you want people what do you do when you see the door ring, right? You don't know someone's coming. And the doorbell rings. You're like, oh my God, it's the door. Someone's there. Who's there? And you're like hiding under your couch. You're ducking. You don't want to answer your door because you don't want to know, you don't want to be bothered. It's not like it was when we were kids and someone answered the door or rang the doorbell. You're like, oh my God, who's here? Yay, we have neighbors. We have friends. We have company. And you'd bring the cake. It's not like that anymore, okay? They did not tell you that when you get into real estate, you're going to be competing with thousands and thousands of other people in your area to try to get business. They didn't tell you that most people they have no value add, no unique selling proposition whatsoever. They're doing everything that everyone else is. So the only thing they can do is to continue to drop their commission and drop their commission and drop their commission. Not a good idea, okay? Do not do that. Learn to be different. Learn to have value. Learn to have your unique selling proposition where you are doing things completely different than everyone else. So you are not a commodity. You are the brain surgeon of real estate. They need to teach you how to do that. Also, they didn't tell you that people are rude and they're mean. Why are they that way? Because most agents do not have the ability to show what makes them different and what makes them unique. So what happens? People pretty much are very abusive. They don't respect your time. They don't respect your energy. They call you at all hours of night. They call you on your birthday. They call you on your parents' funeral. They literally have zero respect for your time. Why? Because you haven't been taught how to make them respect your time, how to show them how unique and different you are. You're working every weekend. You're working every night. You're missing your kids' sporting events. You're got into real estate because you wanted more time, freedom, and energy, and you have no time, no freedom, no energy, chasing your tail, and the very second that you stop doing the work, bammo, everything stops. So it's a complete roller coaster of up and down, up and down, up and down. Do you know that 87% of agents will not be in business after the first 5 years? Why? Because it's too darn easy to get into real estate. And they didn't tell you that in most cases, if you work with a broker, they are taking a significant amount of your business. In fact, when I first got into real estate, I was one of the very few people that did really, really well in business. The reason I did so well in business was because I was actually a teacher prior to getting into real estate. And I taught third grade for 6 years. And one day my daughter got very, very sick. So she almost died. She contracted spinal meningitis. She had a kidney failure, and she had multiple strokes. So we spent about 3 weeks in Oakland Children's Hospital. It was a long time ago, so I don't get emotional about it anymore, but it was hard at the time. And then I left my full-time teaching job to get into real estate because I thought I would stay home with Kaylee, be her mom, take care of her, help her with all of her milestones, because they told me that she was probably going to have some severe learning disabilities, if not severe, being severely disabled, blind, deaf, all of those things from what was happening. So I thought, okay, I'm going to leave my teaching job. I'm going to get into real estate. I'll just play real estate, sell 3 to 4 houses a year, and make the same amount of money I did when I was actually a teacher. Well, that's not what happened. What happened was my husband at the time, he ended up having an affair and draining our bank accounts. And within 2 weeks of me finding this out, I had the new girlfriend coming to the house to pick up my children for Thanksgiving and taking them away. She was actually driving my car at the time, believe it or not, took the kids away. And I realized, like, oh my gosh, life could not get any worse. I just left my full-time teaching job. Now some woman is taking my children away, and she is, gonna spend Thanksgiving with them while I'm here alone. And so I sat in the kitchen drinking a bottle of wine, don't judge me, at 10 in the morning, crying, and looking out in our backyard because we had just bought in a brand new house and it was nothing back there but dirt. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I have got to do this. So that year I sold 69 houses, which is like pretty completely asinine. It doesn't usually ever happen in the real estate business when you've been in real estate for 20 years. So I sold 69 homes that year because I was absolutely forced to, okay? But my reasoning in telling you this story is that my first year in real estate, do you know that I gave my broker $70,000? They got $70,000 of my commission, my hard-earned commission. I gave them $70,000 of my commission. Do you know that's more money than I made all year from being a teacher? After teaching for 6 years, full-time in 1 year, I made $60,000, okay? Working 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week as a teacher with all the education, 6 years experience, I was making $60,000 a year. My first year in real estate, my broker took $70,000 out of my commission. They don't tell you that you're gonna be paying extreme amounts of money to your broker. And if your broker gives you leads and generate leads, you're gonna be working even more than that, right? You're gonna be giving up even more than that commission because they're providing the lead for you, right? You need to think about, do you have a CRM? Do you have a website, right? Do you have a transaction management software? How are you gonna actually generate leads? What kind of content are you gonna produce? I can just go on and on about all the things they did not tell you about real estate, right? It looks so glamorous, it looks so fun, driving the fancy cars and seeing the pretty houses and all that stuff. But how are you gonna get the clients to get into the houses? How are you gonna get the clients to list the properties? And when you do get that property, that listing, how are you gonna be able to compete with the top producer that's been doing it for 20, 30 years? Well, guess what? I've got some good news for you. We've actually taught people that are brand new agents to learn how to beat top producers, and here's how. We teach them not to do the things that you're traditionally taught to do, not to do open houses, not to door knock, not to cold call. We teach them how to utilize video and social media to become the digital mayor of their town. I call it the community market leader. So, I know real estate seemed to be so easy, and I know it can be so intimidating, but it doesn't always need to be that way. In fact, we have a 3-day boot camp that we do where we actually teach agents how, what real estate's really like, how to be that go-to trusted authority, whether they're a brand new agent or a middle agent or they're already kicking butt. We teach them how to utilize social media and video and digital marketing to reach the masses, not just the few. So I know real estate seemed like it was so great to get into. I hope I didn't completely freak you out. I kind of went on a bit of a tangent here. And yes, this is a tangent because I've been doing this for 20 years. I've sold over 2,300 homes and I have seen it all. And I feel it's so sad. Like you're told to go to a seminar, or read this book, or do this thing. Just they tell you to do it, but they never tell you how to put it all together to absolutely have what I call digital location domination, how to be that go-to trusted community market leader. So if you're interested, down below in the links, you can find more out about the boot camp. Otherwise, hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Remember, when you do what you love, people love what you do.
Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.